And these are the good news for Good News Monday. First, on the gains that we realized as a result of our ASEAN hosting, in addition to the goodwill and rapport, we have the following from the United States: $14.3 million for the rehabilitation of Marawi City, and $2 million to support our ongoing drug war. For China, 14 cooperation agreements on areas such as the economy, infrastructure, transportation, environment, intellectual property, national security, and finance. From Japan, the first phase of the Metro Manila subway, a total of 46 billion pesos, will be provided by the Japanese government, while a loan amounting to a further 4 billion will be provided to cover the construction of a bypass road along the Philippine-Japan Friendship Highway in Plaridel, Bulacan. Further, the Japanese government committed an additional billion for the procurement of equipment, materials for counterterrorism such as Coast Watch radars and reconstruction of Marawi, all currency in Philippine peso. From Russia, 8 bilateral agreements on such areas as criminality, extradition, energy, communication, education, intellectual property, audits, and accounts. From Canada, $17.8 million for the sexual health and empowerment projects for women in the Philippines. From New Zealand, 3 agreements on education, tourism, and the geothermal industry. We were likewise able to push mutual interests such as general system of preference with the United States and to start exploring talks on an FTA or a Philippine-U.S. free trade agreement. We were able to improve market access for Philippine bananas in Australia, Japan, and Korea. We had talks on producing cheaper medicines with India and talks with pharmaceutical companies to set up in the Philippines, and cooperation against sea piracy threat in Sulu with Australia. On further good news, the Cagayan de Oro Coastal Road opens after 20 years. The DPWH led the opening ceremony of the 12.77-kilometer Cagayan de Oro Coastal Road last November 10, which is expected to lessen the travel time by 20 minutes from Laguindingan to Cagayan de Oro. This is a 4 billion coastal road which will serve as a bypass starting from Barangay Gusa in the eastern side all the way to the western side in Barangay Igpit, Opol in Misamis Oriental, connecting 6 barangays in the city and 2 barangays in Opol. More good news, we have the New Bohol Airport's first test flight. The OTR, NEDA, and the Office of the Cabinet Secretary successfully conducted the first test flight of the New Bohol Airport in Panglao last November 6. The Bohol Airport is now at 53.38 completion. It's on track to be finished by June 2018. We have scheduled for commercial operations by August of 2018. The 7.8 billion airport can accommodate 7 aircrafts, both domestic and international. This is funded by JICA under the Official Development Assistance and is designed to be the country's first eco-airport and green gateway to the world. 2 news materials. First, during the bilateral talks between President Duterte and the Chinese Premier, President Duterte offered to the People's Republic of China the privilege to operate the 3rd telecoms carrier in the country. This comes after the Philippine government signed with an affiliate of Facebook a project entitled the Luzon Bypass of the Pacific Light Cable Network, which would provide broad bandwidth of 2 terabits per second. This 2 terabits is equivalent to the current capacity of the duopoly operators today. I was also asked to explain that the process of breaking this duopoly should have been sooner. This agreement with the subsidiary of Facebook should have been signed as early as December 2016. It was not signed by the former secretary of the DICT, and this was one of the areas pinpointed by cabinet investigators as an area of conflict of interest for the former secretary of the ICT. It was further reported by the Special Investigating Committee that the former DICT secretary likewise may have prevented the earlier breakup of the duopoly by delaying the use of satellites as viable option. There was a realization period of almost 5 years, and meanwhile, this leaves the duopoly, this preserves for the duopoly the market. No? It was also observed that the initial cost for a national broadband plan appeared excessive at 200 billion because the recommendation did not consider the contribution that could be made by existing broadband providers such as the National Grid Corporation, NGCP, the National Transmission Corporation, fiber optic lines, and the Philippine National Railway Communication Project. Now, it would appear also that the PASEC, under the scheme being pushed by the former Secretary of the ICT, the NBP terrestrial backbone would still have left the duopoly with the right to connect the end users to the backbone. No? And this after government would have spent already 77 billion pesos. No? So the good news is the consumers can look forward now to better telecommunications, not just in terms of cellular technology, but also in terms of internet speed as well as access. This is the latest instance of the President proving that he has the political will to do what is necessary to benefit the Filipino people. I repeat, the announcement is that the duopoly, the telecoms duopoly, is about to end with the entry of the Facebook subsidiary as well as the offer by the President to the People's Republic of China to operate the third telecoms carrier.